Welcome to the Toy Box. Man, we're back after a long hiatus, and I'm very sorry. I know there have been quite a few people asking when the video's coming out. When are you going to reveal these things? When are you going to talk about these reveals? Where's the news briefs? I ended up in Tampa last weekend with a friend, and I knew that I was going to miss a couple episodes. And I got back in town, and those little episodes I started working on, I stopped because they did the full reveal on the Custodes and the Battle Sisters. So I wanted to start on that video, and then surprise, surprise, because I don't watch the news, a hurricane decided to come towards Florida. So of course we started getting our things together for that last week, and that came and passed, and we lost power quite a few times actually, and our hot water heater caught on fire. So we had to replace that, which was super fun. And finally the weekend got here, and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't feel like doing shit. But here I am. It's perfect timing. There was a reveal that literally was just dropped a few minutes ago, so I'm going to get into that. Hopefully that at least is a surprise, so stay tuned. There's a couple teasers at the end. One of them you already know about, the full reveal of the Dreadknight. I don't get to be the guy that shows you that first, but you know what? It doesn't always work out that way. I appreciate everybody that had reached out to me and asked, how are you? Everything okay? Yes, everything's fine. No damage to the house other than a new hot water heater, which is always a good thing. But that's it. That's my 2-minute briefing on where I've been. I'm back. I'm very sorry. And thank you again to everybody that's been waiting for the next video and checking up on me. But let's get into it. Joy Toy dropped them. Full reveal of the Custodians and the Battle Sisters. And the first one up is the Adeptus Custodes Alaris Terminator Vexillus Praetor. Praetor? That's a tough one. This is just going to be the Custodes Terminator. I'm not saying that name again. I know I already screwed it up once. This guy looks really cool. I love the staff / banner that he has with that double-headed eagle. Some people aren't going to like that. It's Warhammer. I'm sorry. These guys just remind me immediately of Fifth Element. Fifth Element's one of my favorite sci-fi movies, so this is super sick. Let's go ahead and look at that frontal detailed display shot where we again have a zoom in on that double eagle. There's his shoulder pauldrons, his head, which is sunken in a little bit. I feel like it should come out a little bit more. They maybe need to extend the neck, but it is what it is. We've got a shot of that really cool belt that he's wearing. Let's go ahead and look at the front and back display where we can see, and I immediately noticed this on his back for anyone that was wondering where any weapons would be stored. His sword goes behind him, which kind of seems like a pain in the ass to have to swivel around in that giant suit to pull your sword out in battle, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, this thing is pretty sick. That staff is going to be massive. Those shoulder pauldrons, I know. I'll go ahead and get into this first. Joy Toy is reworking the way that this figure looks. Somebody on Twitter had a really funny diagram of where the arms would actually meet into his head, which doesn't make sense. So they're either lowering the shoulders and arms, or hopefully they extend the neck, or they do both. I'm not really sure, but it is being reworked, which is good. So if you're staring at this going, why in the hell are the proportions off? This doesn't make sense. They're working on it. So here's a little action shot of him just standing there holding that staff up. He's got that really cool machine gun on his forearm. This guy is huge too. I'll pull it up later, but I do have a comparison shot that shows him in line with an Ultramarine and then a Sisters of Battle, just to kind of give you an example of scale. And again, in this picture, you can kind of see his shoulder or his arms are down, so it looks a little better, but still they are reworking that. This looks great. So our next figure is another Terminator, so I'm just going to call him Terminator number 2. You'll notice he just has a head sculpt. He does not come with the helmeted head, which really thank God, because if you look at the opening of his torso or his neck where that head sculpt would go in, there's little points, and the eagle head that would get in, that would be such a pain in the ass to head swap. For anybody that owns the Chaos Terminators that had the elephant tusks on the helmet, those were almost impossible to swap out. I think this is totally fine this way. He's got a staff. Looks like it's got a gun on his staff, which is pretty sick. Let's go ahead and go to the next picture. Here's our front detail display where we've got, again, a close-up of that staff. His shoulders with the eagles on them, that looks great. A little close-up on his head, which again, hopefully this doesn't come with a masked helmet. If it does, I wasn't aware of it. But there's no way you're getting that head in and out of there. So, and we've got a close-up of his belt. This guy looks really good. Lots of detail here. Here's the front and back shot, which again, he's got a sword behind him, which is great. He's got that hair flowing up over his back. I really like this staff, and I'm actually just now catching it that there's a gun on it, which is really cool. So it's got the handle towards the bottom of the staff, almost like a pistol. So, you know, one hand will go there, the next hand will go where it's actually holding currently, and he can kind of shoot his enemies. This is really cool. This one actually might be my favorite of the three. Let's go ahead and go to the next shot of him holding that. Here's an action shot of him holding his staff / rifle. This guy is cool. Still has that machine gun on his left arm, which looks great. So really you're going to dual wield if he's holding his staff in that same hand, which is really cool, man. This is nice. There's a lot of detail here. Loincloth is connected to the torso by a barbell ball joint. So it will swivel out of the way. It'll kind of have its own flow of motion where you can move it out of the way if you need to. In this shot in particular, it looks like it's doing a hell of a job holding the figure balanced, which is good. You're going to need that because this guy is pretty big. He's going to be a heavy figure. So this guy is great. If you're sitting here waiting for loadouts on these figures, there are no loadouts. What you're seeing in these pictures are exactly what they're going to come with. So for instance, this figure, you're just getting a staff. You're getting the figure and the staff. The figure before him, figure and a staff. So if you're waiting for me to say, here's his loadout, this is all you got. Let's go to the next figure. The next one is the Custodes Terminator number 3. He also has a staff. Surprise, surprise. Getting a little repetitive here, but it's okay. Here's the frontal detail display where we got a close-up of that axe on his staff, which is really cool, which also, again, doubles as a rifle. He's got his pauldrons there, close-up of his face, close-up of his belt. Let's go to the next picture of the front and back display where, again, we're getting a little repetitive with 3 in here, but it's okay. You know, these figures are really cool. These guys are monsters. Here's the action shot here where he's got his sword out. This guy looks fantastic. So again, I guess I'll just say it here so you can hear me say it. Here's his loadout. He's got his axe / rifle / staff and his sword that does come out of that sheath behind him, which is really cool. I don't know if these guys are going to come with hands. Again, I know that I said in these pictures is what you get, but I can't imagine them not including a couple hands. I haven't seen any shots, so don't quote me on that. I would hope that they do at least include a few action hands, just to change things up a bit, because if you have all 3, it's going to get a little boring with them all just standing there holding their staffs, or their staff guns, or their axes. But yeah, these are the Custodes' first entry into the line of Custodians. I know a lot of people are happy. Hopefully Henry Cavill himself picks up a couple of these, which would be pretty cool. Get the line a little bit more popular with somebody of that kind of status owning them. So let's move on next. We're going to go into the Sisters of Battle. I'm going to call her the Imagifier. This one is my ultimate favorite of the Battle Sisters, and I don't know if it's the giant staff that is literally a second action figure on a stick, or if it's her hooded head that's only revealing half her face, but there's something about this figure I really like. Here is the front detail display, which, I mean, look how massive that staff is. It's literally a second figure on a stick. I mean, this thing is huge. I'm worried about what plastic they've used on that staff, because if it's solid plastic, a hard plastic, it's going to be damn near impossible to balance. Knowing that her hands are on ball joints, that's just going to be an issue. I really want this figure to come with a stand, and that stand have a keyhole in it that you could plug the staff into, so you don't really have to worry about it falling over. Something that size, you know, if she's standing holding it like this and that hand gives way or it becomes unbalanced and it comes down, it's going to act like a giant axe coming down on figures around her, and it's just going to be a bad day for anybody. But still, man, this thing is fantastic. I'm so excited for this. Let's go ahead and look at, here's the front shot again. This figure is so big that they actually had to break up the front and back display shots into 2 separate photos, just based on how big that staff is. So the staff is huge. Here's the back display so we can see her backpack, her giant machine gun, or her bolter rifle. Actually has a holster, which is pretty cool. It's not usable. This is obviously a separate piece, but it's still very cool. Here's a really nice action shot of her just standing there menacing. Man, this is great. I'm so excited for this figure. So here is the loadout. And the first thing I've noticed, and I'm going to have to correct myself from what I just said a few minutes ago, that holster on her hip does actually function. This is really cool. So the magazine on her, I'm just going to call it a pistol, sorry. The magazine on her pistol slides out. That gun will slide into the holster, and then to lock it into the holster, you'll just put the magazine back into the gun. That's a really, really, really cool feature. I just noticed it from sitting here looking at this picture. The other thing, obviously, her banner does break down into two pieces, which is interesting. I wonder if you'd be able to kit bash anything. I don't know, maybe a Paragon suit. Little hint, what's coming here later on in this video. That'd be really cool, actually, if you could slide that on top of a Paragon suit. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So she comes with 6 hands in total, which is great. There's her backpack. She does not come with a helmeted head. I'm going to assume because she already comes with enough stuff that they said, hey, we're not throwing a helmet in. It would cost us too much. This is great, man. This is just insane. So here's our next sister of battle. Now, this image, she is numbered 1. So I'm not going to give any of these guys names. I'm sure they're out there already. I did not pull them all up. I'm sorry for that. This one is more of the calm-faced one. I know a lot of people have been calling this one the calm face or the shell-shocked face. I know she kind of looks like she's just lost in the moment, like she's seen a lot of shit on the battlefield. Let's go ahead to the next image. Here's the frontal detail display where we've got a close-up of her face and her gun and her loincloth, the little charm hanging down. This is really cool, man. Here's the front and back display again where we've got her backpack in there. I didn't mention this earlier. I'll go ahead and mention this now. That cape that's coming down. It's a thin, pliable material. There's no wires in it. It is not cloth. That is rubber. You will be able to move that out of the way. It's not going to stay in place, obviously, but it's pliable enough to where for most of your poses it will kind of work with you, which is nice. Same with that frontal loincloth. This is really cool, man. So here's a front action shot of her just with that face staring off in the distance. I will say this, one thing that Joy Toy has improved on anything above and beyond the figures themselves is their face paint and the sculpts. If anyone has the first Intercessor releases, man, some of those faces were rough. Even some of the faces that we've gotten within the past few months have been a little off. But clearly Joy Toy's working to change that. They're trying to go for a little bit more realism. I had always just assumed that the faces that were coming out and the way they painted kind of matched a miniature. Most people, I know there's a lot of talented people out there doing miniatures, but most of the faces looked just like what Joy Toy produced, so I always thought that was a cool callback. That may have just been a happy accident. That may have not been what they were going for. Just how I always looked at it. But these figures here show and tell a different story, that they're really trying to nail those face sculpts and the paints down a little bit better, and I'm very happy for that. So here's her loadout. She does come with a helmet, which is nice. She's got her backpack, 6 hands in total. She comes with 2 guns. That one on the right, the magazine does slide out, which is nice. She does not come with the holster, but that's okay. You know, just you're not using it, throw it to the side. I'm really excited for this, man. These figures look fantastic. I am noticing this below the shoulder pauldron. She kind of has this red plume of cloth. That's going to be a soft, pliable material as well, but it might hinder the way that you put guns in her arms based on how it's kind of plumed out. I'm not going to know that, or anyone really will, until they're in hand. Either way, it looks great, but it may hinder a little bit of ways that you have her carry guns. But it is pliable enough. It'll bend down. I just don't know if it'll spring back. But again, that I'm not going to know until they're in hand. So here's our third edition of the Sisters of Battle. Now, she is really cool. She's got that mask over her face. This is kind of the COVID edition. This is great. Here's our front detail display shot where you've got that really cool skull over her chest. Again, a close-up of the Inquisitor insignia on her loincloth. Close-up of the rifle. Oh, man. Here's the front and back shots. Again, we're starting to get repetitive because, yes, it's the same body. But it doesn't matter, man. This is really cool. It's almost akin to the Krieg, where, you know, there's 6 of them here. There's enough here where you can really make almost a squad of 12. Well, I'd say a squad of 11. You know, you can slap helmets on the other ones that come with them. This is really cool. I really like this rifle. You can see a close-up of her face. So here's her loadout. She's got her 2 guns, her backpack, 6 hands in total. And don't forget the helmet. This is really cool. And here's another thing that I'm thinking about it. If you do plan to buy multiples of these, or even just the first 6, the one sister that has the banner, if you're not using this character's mask because she already has a half mask face, you can pop that helmeted head on the other bannered figure and you're good to go. You know, all these figures do. You can swap parts with no problem, which is really cool. All right, so here's the next Sister of Battle again. She's got that little scanner over her eye. We're starting to really get into that territory where this is all just the same figure and over, so I am going to kind of rush through these last ones. She does come with a sword, though, which is really cool. Here's her front detail display. We've got a close-up of the insignia on her loincloth and her chest, close-up of her face, close-up of her gun. Here's that front and back display where you can see she does come with more of a loadout. You know, I'm thinking that this one, for me at least, is the leader. She's got a sword. She's got looks like a pistol on her back that unfortunately is not going to come out. So this is an action pose here. Oh man, this one's cool. Yeah, this is definitely, as far as I'm concerned, is the leader of the group. You've got that sword there again. Here's her loadout. So we've got the sword, that really cool rifle, her backpack, helmet, 6 hands. If you plan on displaying her holding her sword, I would try my damnedest to cover up that sheath because that is ugly as shit. But yeah, that's that figure. Let's go on to the last one. So here's our final Sister of Battle. Kind of the same face sculpt as the one we just saw. She's got a scar and she doesn't have anything covering her eye. Let's run through this one quick. Here's our front detail display. We got the face, we got the chest, we got the sword, we got the waist. This all looks good. Here's our battle shot here. Holding up that pistol, you can kind of see the little inner workings of the joints. There's that ball joint that she's going to have, or all of them really. Another sheath to kind of hold up there. Here's her loadout, which is basically the same as the last, but she does come with a pistol instead of a rifle. She's got that sword, 6 hands, head sculpt, backpack. This all looks fantastic. I'm super stoked for this. There's 6 in total. I don't have a price point. I know Flyema just posted theirs. Gundamit posted theirs. There's a couple AliExpress stores that have theirs, but you can't really go off of those prices because of the global markups. I wait for stores like Cool Toys Club to post them, Locker Toys to post them, and then that really gives us an idea of what they're going to cost us that are outside of that Chinese market. I'm going to base the Sisters of Battle off of the Krieg prices, which were about, depending on where you went, again, which were about $30 to $40 a piece. I feel like these should sit in that $35 to $43 range, which would make sense. The one with the Sister of Battle with that second figure as a stand, I feel like could have a higher price. I hope they don't do it, but it could happen. The Custodians, which are huge, I'm putting those at least $65. And as I'm saying that now, I do have a picture that I can go back and show you. Here is that reference that shows scale. So we've got the Custodian, an Ultramarine, and a Sister of Battle. Those Custodians are huge, which is great. You know, they're supposed to be. The Sister of Battle, small, which is great. They're supposed to be. Which you can actually see in this picture. I know it's fuzzy, but you can see that Custodes staff, and then behind him in the distance, you can actually see the Sister of Battle staff, which still is bigger than the Custodes, which is cool. Which is why I feel like her and that figure in particular may be a little bit more expensive. I hope not, but if it is, it's understandable. You kind of do get 2 figures in one, even though one's a statue. But again, that's it for this wave of Custodes and Sisters of Battle. But I told you guys that I had some reveals, one of which I know, actually 2 of which I know everyone's already seen before. There was a video that was posted in Discord. I took a screenshot of that video to show the Dreadknight laying down and this piston was actually functioning, which is really cool. There was another video that was posted as well in the Discord that showed the functioning Gatling gun on his arm. It looked to be battery operated, so it would spin, which was really cool. I didn't grab any pictures or anything from that because we ended up getting the full reveal, at least unpainted prototype of the Dreadknight, which looks great. Again, on his left arm, you will see that Gatling gun. Supposedly, unless they scrap the idea, but supposedly that should be battery operated, which would be good. You know, the price on this guy is already going to be high, so I feel like a little bit of an electronic component adds to that value of that price, which is great. Also in this picture, a lot of people were doing some hunting around for prototypes that were kind of hidden in here. I didn't see anything hiding, so there's nothing of significance really prototype wise that are laying around here. The only thing that I would call out is underneath his arm and in between his right leg, there is a character there holding what looks to be a chaos axe, but there's really nothing there that you can see. It's just shapes by the time you zoom in, so that could be something. Obviously it is something. What it is, we have no idea. The other reveal that I have that literally just dropped before I started recording this was the Sisters Paragon Warsuit. This is really cool. I don't know how long they have been working on this. It was supposed to be revealed, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be revealed with this batch of figures. I know COVID's pretty prevalent still in China, and at least where Joy Toy is based at, they're all currently on lockdown. Which is another reason why I kind of got lucky on stopping those daily videos that I was releasing. There was supposed to be some more Black Templar reveals, but Joy Toy can't get to their factory or on their computers where they have images and everything housed to show those off. Most of them are still working from home. I believe that's kind of what's going on in this picture here. So we were able to get that, which is great, but hopefully everyone over there is doing fine. They're safe, they're healthy, those lockdowns are lifted, so we can get back and see some more cool shit that we were supposed to see last week. But that's the Paragon suit. I'm super excited. The other thing that I did notice, and I can't really zoom in on it because the video or the picture kind of goes to shit, so look for this on Twitter or in the Discord. I could be wrong, but there's a paint can to the left of that Paragon suit. There is something on that glass, and my mind just wants to tell me that that's the arm of a Necron. I could be wrong. That could be a component for the Paragon suit, but my mind tells me that that's a Necron arm, and I hope it is. Also in that green basket, there's like some parts in there for what looks like could be a mech suit, but it's just so jumbled up that you really can't make anything of it. But that's pretty much it for that reveal that was dropped today, which was great. That is the video. That is our Custodians and our Sisters of Battle. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching. Please like and subscribe. If you're in the market for some toys, head over to cooltoysclub.com. The owner is Lloyd Chen. He's a member of the Discord. He actually we just wrapped up our last giveaway, so we don't have a giveaway coming until next month. But go over to cooltoysclub.com, search around. There is use code YWOBB. You will get a little money off your purchase there, which is fantastic. It's always a good thing to save money. And then while you're at it, go and join the Discord. I'm going to have the link here in the bio. Come on in. We're like well over 1,300 members right now. Suddenly the group has really taken off. We've got a lot of great members in there, so there's constant conversation, showing off their figures, talking about what they want, turning things into memes with the sussy bird, which is my favorite thing right now. So follow me on Twitter at JoyToyWarhammer. Follow me on TikTok at JoyToyWarhammer. And until then, guys, I'll see you at the next video.